Environmental drivers of chronic disease and cognitive decline. This slideshow will illustrate the relationship between environment and chronic disease. In the first box, we see environmental drivers. These 5 external factors trigger biologic mechanisms, both directly and indirectly through direct impacts on cells and tissues, changes in microbiome-mediated pathways, and epigenetic modifications. Here you see the main biologic mechanisms that link these environmental factors in chronic diseases: inflammation, disrupted insulin signaling, oxidative stress, and altered gene expression. These biologic mechanisms can lead to chronic diseases that are common in societies that have adopted Western lifestyles as they developed, usually including diet, reduced physical activity, and exposures to industrial chemicals and other pollutants. These disorders often co-occur. When industrializing societies start to develop one of these diseases, they generally develop them all. And when individuals develop one of these diseases, they tend to be at increased risk for the others as well. Metabolic syndrome consists of the early stages of these other disorders, namely increased waist circumference, borderline elevation of blood sugar without symptoms of diabetes, borderline hypertension or high blood pressure, and abnormal blood lipids including increased LDL cholesterol and triglycerides and/or decreased HDL cholesterol. Having any 3 of the 6 conditions meets criteria for the diagnosis of metabolic syndrome. Having metabolic syndrome increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 3.5 to 5-fold, of cardiovascular disease 1.5 to 2-fold, and death from any cause by 1.3 to 1.6-fold. Children with metabolic syndrome are 15 times more likely to have cardiovascular disease as adults. When abnormally activated, these biologic mechanisms increase the risk of Parkinson's disease, cognitive decline, and dementia. In addition, people with midlife obesity, diabetes, and abnormal serum lipids are at increased risk of cognitive decline and dementia later in life. Interventions that reduce the risk of diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease also appear to reduce the risk of dementia.